believe that most of it goes back to thousands of years. But on the whole, as each generation passed, there are different theories, and they do change the Bible every time they print it.
Yeah.
What do you base that on? Why?
Interpretation. I believe that everybody has to have put some of their opinion in it when it was interpreted.
I don't believe so because there's a lot of different versions that are written, so it's hard to say probably which one is the true first version. Because every religion itself is written in different versions.
I think that the language that was written has been changed, altered, edited over the years, so there would be differences.
I just think over the time, over the years, it'd be changed just like anything else would be changed, kind of like playing telephone. It's all interpreted. And being that it wasn't written in English, I'm sure, I would only think that it would be translated basically to suit how people want it to be.
I think it could be different because there's many changes that will be made that people cannot understand, and different changes that it will go through over time, that when things change, when the word passes, they pass differently from time to time.
Well, if I tell you a story today and you tell that story to someone else, and then that person tells it to someone else, and it goes and transcends hundreds and thousands of years, the story isn't the same at the end. It doesn't equal the same story that was originated, does it now?
Really, I'm not sure because, I wasn't born back then, so unless it's some kind of evidence or, then probably is, it probably isn't, it could be changed around all the time. I think some of it's the same, but then again, I think some of it's changed by man over time.
I want to start by contexting the whole set of arguments. If you're talking to a young person today, say in a high school or university, and you make a statement that Jesus Christ is the truth, or the Bible is the truth, or Christianity is the truth, here's a phrase you'll hear. Well, truth changes all the time. Oh, I hear that constantly. Truth changes all the time. And so I'll respond and say, really? Give me an example. The number one example I hear, straight across, whether high school or university, is, people used to believe that the earth was flat, now they believe it's round. I said, that's an example that truth changes? Well, yes. I said, let me ask you two questions. When everybody thought the earth was flat, was it really round? And I've not had one person this day not say, yes, it was. Second question. When everybody came to believe the earth was round, had it always been round? Well, yes. Well, then wait a minute. Truth didn't change. Your perspective of truth changed. The truth remained the same. The earth was round. Our perspective changed. And then I'll throw this out. What caused people to change their perspective from the earth being flat to the earth being round? And it's interesting, in almost every single focus group with university or high school students, they'll say something like this. Well, the evidence or testimony, experience. I say, that's right. Testimony, experience. Is when people would leave on the ships, the mothers, the wives, the children, the brothers, sisters, the family would go down to say goodbye to them. Why? They truly believed that they would fall off the end of the earth and they would never see their husband or their father or their kids again. They kept going further and further, and they kept thinking, they're going to fall off the edge of the earth. But they kept going further and further, and they kept coming back. And they said, wait a minute. The earth must not be flat. There's no end to the earth. First was personal testimony, and then second, most young people say, the evidence or the facts. And I'll say, that's right. They started to examine the evidence. They started to calculate with the stars and everything. They said, wait a minute. The earth isn't flat. There's a curvature to it. And then they would sail, and they'd come all the way back around and say, the earth is not flat. It is round. It was testimony and the evidence, the facts. And then I correlate it this way. I used to believe that the Bible was flat. Now I believe it's round. And what changed my opinion? Two things. Personal testimony, experience. Second, I examined the evidence. And what I want to do, because we have a brief period of time, is just examine some of the evidence. And it would be a very brief presentation to it. But in the book that just came out, I spent the last 4.5 years totally rewriting, updating with the evidence and everything, the old 2 volumes of Evidence and Demands a Verdict into the new Evidence that Demands a Verdict. And everything that I share is completely documented there. Now, in the evidence, whenever you examine any book of history, doesn't matter if it's the Bible, whatever, any book of antiquity, to determine if it's historically accurate, authentic, if it has integrity to it, if it's accurate, you apply an historiography. And a part of any good historiography, the principles in interpreting history, of studying history, in any good historiography is what's called the bibliographical test. And I remember one student spoke up and said, "Oh, I knew you'd bring the Bible in." I said, "I didn't say Bible. Bibliographical test." Now, a bibliographical test will ask 2 questions of the manuscripts of any work. Now, what is a manuscript? A manuscript, by definition, is a handwritten copy over against a printed copy. A handwritten copy over against a printed copy. And the first question they ask of a manuscript, now why do they ask these questions of a manuscript? Because here is 2 issues that I struggled with. Why I needed an historiography, why I needed to study the historical background of the Scriptures. Because there were 2 questions that haunted me. And I think they haunt a lot of people. The first question was this: is what we have today, called the Bible, and I'll look at only the New Testament today, is what we have in the New Testament what was written down 2,000 years ago? I think that's an honest question. Or has it been changed? Like a lot of people say, and usually without documented, oh, it's been changed, what people didn't like, they took out, what they did like, they put in, and it just changed down through the years. So the first question I had to struggle with, is what we have today what was written down? Second question, though, is what even haunted me more. Was what was written down true? Was what was written down true? Because if what was written down wasn't true, I could care less that what we have today is what was written down. And so there were 2 questions that haunted me before I ever became a Christian.
Truth is really based on facts. The facts that you can accept to be positive or negative. It's hard to put a good definition to that. But I always say truth would have to have a lot of positives to it. Like evidence or living it. You make your own truth in that respect.
I think truth is within the person. And it just naturally evolves.
I think a person finds their own truth. If they feel something is right and they feel that they need to find something out, they will find it. If they don't really care, then they won't find it out.
It could be discovered and created, but created, it's a frame of mind that could be passed on or discovered that someone actually looks for the truth.
I think it's all subjective. I mean, the truth is what it is to you, not to what everybody tells you it's supposed to be. So I think it has to be discovered, because the truth for you is going to be different from what it is for other people.
I think in many ways truth is felt inside. It's neither discovered nor created. But it's a sense of knowing that what you comprehend is correct.
So that would make truth relative?
No, I think you have to create truth. By proving with facts that something does exist. And those facts have to be solid. Take theorems in geometry. They're proven with facts.